It is championship night at the Homestead-Miami Speedway, final race of this season-long championship run, and it comes down to the final race to try to win it all. Clint Bowyer versus Tony Stewart. It's been the battle all season long. Took us about 15 races or so to get to the points lead, battle back and forth for the points lead for about half a dozen races or so. Then we started to take off. We had almost a full race lead in the championship, about 140 points. That got dwindled down to a tie 2 races ago going into Texas. Tony Stewart had come back. We were able to fight back, get the win, and they come from behind race at Texas on Friday night last week. And then we fast forward into yesterday's race at Phoenix, dominated, led the most laps, won the race. That gives us a 40-point lead over Tony Stewart entering the final race of the season. That is not an easy championship win, but we do control our own destiny. All we have to do is finish 7th or better today to win the title. Technically, 6th or better would win the championship. 7th is if I were to lead a lap. Because I did qualify on the pole, I'm expecting to lead a lap. So, technically 6th or better, we win the championship if Tony Stewart were to win and lead the most laps. Tony Stewart did qualify 2nd, so we're going to have to be on our best to try to at least keep ourselves in contention for the win if all things go right, and obviously, at the very least, win the championship here this evening. It's been a fun ride. This has definitely been a very competitive season between me and Stewart on the consistency standpoint. We do have the tiebreaker if it did come down to it with the most wins on the season, 19-2. So obviously, he's been very consistent all year. He's only had 1 DNF. I haven't had a DNF. Well, actually, technically I would have at Old Spice. Well, no, because we got credited with a 10th place finish. That was just a weird circumstance. Okay, so we didn't have a DNF on the season, but we have had a couple finishes of 40th or worse. Daytona, Atlanta, first 5 races of the year, we had 2 finishes that far back, and then the second Daytona race, we finished 36th, 33rd at Watkins Glen. Outside of that, looks like 17th at Charlotte in the 5th to last race of the season, which is part of why Tony Stewart was able to catch up to us. He ended up finishing, I think, 2nd or 3rd in that race, but he was still able to eat into that lead. The next race, when I finished 10th at Old Spice, he got the win there, and that's when we ended up tied. But we did win the last 2 races to give ourselves at least a very, very good fighting chance at it all here this season. NASCAR content, we got a couple hours of NASCAR action for you here on this Tuesday evening, our last stream for a few days. Yeah, we definitely got to be on our best behavior. That is true. Ethan and Wade, thanks for tuning in. You guys are the first in the chat below. And thanks to everybody that's going to tune in throughout the course of the night. Green flag is in the air. We are racing, trying to go up and side draft Stewart here right out of the gate. Try to race him as cleanly as we possibly can. Leading this first lap is going to be huge. Greg Biffle right on the back bumper of this 2-car, Clint Bowyer. Bowyer trying to hold on to it. And he does lead lap 1. So there you go. So 7th or better will win the championship tonight after leading this opening lap. And Tony Stewart trying to fight back to 2nd after Greg Biffle got around him on the initial start. Cleared him off turn 4. A little loose there out of turn 2. I do have an edgier setup in the car. Not something I usually have. I was very aggressive with the setup tonight. So I may have to make some adjustments as this race goes on. Again, we have to be smart. We know 7th or better wins the championship. We don't have to win the race. Obviously, we have to finish 7th or better if Stewart were to win. And there he is right behind us. Obviously going to try to put a little bit of pressure on us early. Snow on the ground. Actually, I had my first snowfall. It was during the weekend last weekend. I can't remember what day it was. I think it was Thursday night? No, it was actually earlier in the week than that. I think it was into Wednesday. Tuesday night into Wednesday was our first snowfall. And then we had a dusting a couple days later. That was what I was thinking of initially, but we did have one a couple days earlier than that. It was less than a half-inch both times, so nothing major. Yeah, it was that night, and then 2 days later, that Thursday night, for anybody that might have watched the Thursday night football game, Cleveland had multiple inches of snow. I ended up only getting like a dusting of that, but most of that missed us just to the north of where I live. So cold, 30 degrees. That's nothing. Wade, you're from the north too. You shouldn't be calling that cold. That's like... honestly, considering... well, I mean, I guess... for this time of the year, it's normal, I guess. Or what should be normal, at least for my upbringing. Obviously, it's been considerably warmer the last few years. At least where I live, in particular. I'd imagine it's been like that for most of the country. Good old global warming. Cool, but not cold. Feels like 16. I don't even know what the temperature is outside where I'm at. I haven't checked all day. I think it was below 40 all day, though, for a high. Every time I went out on break, at least my car would say that, but that isn't always indicating exactly what the temperature is. If it sits in the sun all day, or if it's in the shade, it'll read cooler. I'll tell you what, Tony Stewart might be quicker than us because he is putting a lot of pressure on Bowyer. Having this looser setup, I'm scared to burn the rear tires off the car, getting aero loose with him right there. And Matt Kenseth, I think, is the Pennzoil car behind us. Again, it's either Kenseth or Mark Martin. We run into this issue a lot. So we actually see the number on the door. I don't know exactly who it is. It's one of the Pennzoil cars. Stewart looking low. And has the positioning on entry into turn one. A little contact. Up the track goes Bowyer. See this car starting to wiggle around a little bit already. We're only on lap 9. So Stewart's going to get 5 bonus points, more than likely at the line this time by... oh no, maybe not. 3 wide for the lead, in fact. Dicey. Stewart does not lead. And actually, Bowyer still led that lap at the line by inches over Matt Kenseth. What a battle. I don't know what happened to Tony Stewart, but he slid up the racetrack quite a bit. Not a lot of room here for Clint to try to hold the corner as he's battling a loose car. But Kenseth's going to drive on and get to the lead. And Stewart is going to take over second from the 2. Once again. Tell you what, as loose as this car is, I'm surprised I held 3 wide middle as well as I did. Dive back underneath Tony Stewart for second. If I try to run more throttle, I could definitely push my pace a little bit more. It was risky doing that. I just wanted to make sure I was going to slide into second again real quick. Big chop off by Matt Kenseth in the 17. And Clint Bowyer's got the lead back yet again. Fastest lap of the race that last time. A lot on the line for 2 of these top 3. How important these laps led are for the bonus point side of things. It looked like Stewart was going to lead his first lap a few laps ago when he had gotten to the lead, but then Kenseth took us 3 wide. And that costed Stewart, who was up in that 3rd lane at the time, and potentially leading that said lap. Kenseth was able to lead for 2 or 3 before Bowyer got him back, and now Stewart's back into second again as he tracks behind the 2 once more. Corbin Butler also thanks for tuning in. I saw you in the chat a couple minutes ago. Didn't shout you out yet. 3-car breakaway at the front of the field. It's these 3 and nobody else. I could see them faintly back there out of the rear view when we exit the corners in particular. Obviously going to be anywhere between a 2 to a 3 stop race today. Probably going to lean towards 3. Tends to be the case for most of these mile-and-a-half racetracks with the same 200 lap, 300 mile race length. That's still the same race lengths that we see nowadays. Like, nothing has changed with the Busch or Xfinity Series race lengths on mile-and-a-half tracks. Like, they're always the same. Oh, well, wall scrapage. And Stewart's finally got the pathway back to the inside of Boyer again. And Stewart finally gets those 5 bonus points after 15 laps. He will lead us first after starting second. Running that upper groove again. Wow, again 3 wide for the lead here at Homestead. My goodness. What a battle these guys are having. You can tell there's something on the line today. It's a lot of fun, though. I'm just kind of slipping and sliding. Not too bad, at least not yet. It is bad that it's so early in the run and I'm doing that, though. We get 30 to 40 laps into this thing. This thing is going to be hard to handle. It's already getting there. Trying to hold as steady of a wheel as possible. But it's definitely not easy. Now, if Clint Boyer leads the most laps in the race today, then that means we can finish 8th place and win the championship instead of 7th. So that's why we're trying to lead as many laps as we can here. Stewart again to the inside. About to take his second lead of the race. A little bit of a run on the exit of the corner, but Stewart did lead that lap. Either his second or third lap led of the day now. I guess we'll just try to cross him over again. NASCAR Penske Cup Series Racing, thanks for tuning in. Slide job over slide job over slide job. It's a heck of a battle right now. It's what you love to see. Even back in the day, Homestead was fun. I mean, they did have some good races here, even in its early day. Think back to Mark Martin and Greg Biffle having that photo finish. The Ford 400 back in the mid-2000s. Here we are for the 2006 season, having a good Busch race here tonight. Don't have the getaway speed from these two, but it's nice knowing that obviously we have that, you know, top 7 car that we need to try to win this championship. At least on the short run. You have to see exactly what the long run's going to do. Get a little spacing between myself and the second place car, and I don't get as loose because there's no air pack in the rear spoiler. Keep the rear tires more planted to the ground. Please, for all holy being, bring the championship back to Homestead. Yeah, we would love that dearly. Aggressive line down to the apron. Probably get away with that still earlier in the run. Although that wasn't a great exit to the corner. Second half of that corner got me a little bit. I dropped in lap time. Should probably stop going down there. I need to preserve the tires is the big thing. So I start getting loose going down under the apron right now, and Like I said, I don't want to be toast when we get later in this run. In case we have to push it to try to make it on 2 stops. Kenseth looking low. Wall scrape there for Boyer. Kenseth came so close to winning that Texas race. Got to the inside of Boyer on the final lap through 3 and 4, but couldn't complete the pass. I just chopped Tony Stewart's nose off. Through 3 and 4, he goes way up the racetrack. And Boyer with a crossover. Slide job not going to be clear. And Kenseth got him back. That was a dangerous slide job. I like the crew chief's reaction there. Pulled out his inner Ric Flair. Thought I would do Austin Dillon things. No, man, dude, I've been telling you all week I'm not going to do that. Last season was a one-time deal, and that's because we were in a desperate situation, a couple 100 points back with 3 races to go. We ended up winning the title by 12. I hated that I had to do that. Obviously, we're not even going to be able to do something like that with the field swap going forward because we won't have any field swaps NASCAR 08, NASCAR 09 from what I've heard. From what you guys have said in the chat in the past that there isn't the driver swap ability like there is in NASCAR 06 and NASCAR 07. I've never played those games. NASCAR bringing back the championship. I mean, it's been rumored. But nothing's been obviously set in stone. And until then, you got to take it with a grain of salt for what you hear. I always tell people that too when it comes to rumors. Until it's 100% factual. Things have fallen through at the last second before. Matt Kenseth right on that left side door of Clint Boyer. Boyer again going to lead this lap at the line. We're going to take the time to take our first field pass of the race here. We'll swap back to Jeff Burton in the 21 car, who is in the 21st place position, lap 30. Got some cars to battle for position up ahead here. Paul Menard. It's like going to be the first one. No, actually, it's Bernie Lamar. Wrong yellow car. Bernie chopping Jeff Burton off. Even Jeff Burton's car feels a little loose. Kenseth did take the lead that next lap away from Boyer. 32.431 for Burton. As he just ran his fastest lap of the day. Greg Biffle's falling back after starting third. Ay. Sorry, Biff. Hate to do my guy like that. Pushing hard with this 21. Way down low. I'm surprised there was grip down there. Ran a 32.3. Now back to Harvick, who's 24. That car peaking low, just able to get down in front of him on corner entry to turn 1. I didn't see what position that was that he got up to. NASCAR's thinking about it, though. I don't even know that NASCAR's thinking about it more than... I mean, I guess, like, there have been higher profile media outlets that have said that they're looking into it, but NASCAR themselves haven't come out and said that they're looking into it. So, like I said, I just take it with a grain of salt. It's good news to hear, obviously, but even if we were to hear that they're not looking into it, you know, it doesn't look any different, at least in my eyes. All right. Back to Boyer, who is in third. Good news is Tony Stewart's not the leader. It is Matt Kenseth in the 17 car who is leading. Clint Boyer doing what he needs to do to try to win this championship today. And he's led more laps than Tony Stewart. Oh, Stewart's blowing up. Tony Stewart has just blown him an engine. Are you kidding me? There's the nail in the final coffin. Second DNF of the year for Stewart. And Clint Boyer is going to be your 2006 Busch Series champion. Well, now it could be aggressive going for the win, knowing that the title's locked up. Oh my goodness. Have you ever? You know, that kind of sucks. I was hoping for a good title fight. It's been such a good season. The points have been close all year between these two. Tony Stewart, Clint Boyer, swapping the points lead back and forth several times throughout the year. It sucks that it had to end like that, to be completely honest, on lap 35 of the championship race. I mean, it's over. He's going to end up last. He's going to be the first car out of the race. Now, he could return. And if he does that, and he ends up finishing like 6 or 7 spots ahead of last, for that reason, we have to stay in the race. But as long as we finish the race, we're going to win the championship easily. Well, damn. You know, honestly, I was hoping for a good fight. Led some laps early, running second. Lap 35, so early in the race, too. If it was going to happen, it would have been more dramatic if it was at the end. Halfway out of gas. At lap 38, we're pacing well for fuel side of things. Well, now it's our goal to try to get our 20th win of the season. I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably hoping for a closer title fight than that. I mean, it was going to be. I mean, he was right there in the top couple again, like he is every week. You know, we were going to have to fight it out to try to finish 7th or better. We fell back to 3rd. We're starting to close back in on Kenseth again, but... Restart if you... No, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, we're not restarting. Oh, that's an aggressive line. Ha! Oh, man, I almost overcorrected it. It started coming back to the right there for a second. I caught it a second time. I was down on the apron. I had a run on Kenseth. I didn't want to back out of it when he was trying to close the gap that was open on corner entry. Call that the old power slide. That's what you call dirt tracking it. Bringing out my my inner quarter midget prowess. Virtually. There we go. Got the slide job that time. I almost stuck it in the fence. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. We're good. We might just come to pit road. I gotta ease it back onto the race. Ah. Man, we're going to lose so much time here. I was wrecking for almost a half a lap. Like, what was that? Oh my gosh, we lost so much time. She's free, boys. She's free. I didn't think I was ever going to get it to stop fishtailing. I mean, kind of saved it. I was down in the grass and lost 3.5 seconds of my battle for the lead with Kenseth. Man, I cleared him too. A little too much. I mean, this thing's cooked. This thing's cooked now. I had 2 big slides. And that's, that was the end of me there. Obviously, I don't think I would have been that aggressive trying to battle him for the lead if Tony Stewart didn't blow an engine already. For anybody just tuning in, he blew an engine on lap 35. While running in second, we were in third. We would probably still be in third. And he would probably still be second, if not in the lead, if he was battling Kenseth as well there. We'll never know. I actually feel like I have more grip in the first half of the corner when I run the middle line. Even though it's not as fast. I feel like the balance of the car is better there than what it is on the bottom. We're a couple lanes off of the inside. I'm going to wreck. Oh my gosh. Is Kenseth blowing up too? Oh no, that's somebody else. Thought I saw somebody on the inside of the track up there. I thought Kenseth was blowing up too. I'll tell you what. I don't want to say it's a good thing Tony Stewart DNF, but this thing's getting nasty. Oh man. Honestly, the wall kind of straightened me out a little bit when I hit it. Is that the second time I've scraped the wall in the race? Been down in the grass twice. That's the third time. Yeah, I'm going to have to make some setup changes. I got to ride it out, though. I can't pit this early. Not yet. I got to make sure we're in our window to make it. Well, I guess we're technically in our window to make it. I'd be way more nervous with how wrecking loose it would be if Tony Stewart was still in this race. For sure. Because I'd be back at fourth right now. Assuming that he would still be in second. When I keep it from wanting to wreck, there's still speed in it. I mean, you know what they say, loose is fast if you can hang on to it. Kyle Larson proves that almost every week. I'm not Kyle Larson. I'm having a hard time holding on to it. Going for second. You're going to have to give me room because I'm sliding up whether you like it or not. Mainly because I can't help it, but... Alright. I made sure that I didn't overdrive it trying to pass him like I did with Kenseth earlier. Come on. Oh, up, 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 up. Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying. Man, I started getting away from him, too. Close the gap back on me on the straightaway. There we go. That was... Oh, I spoke too soon. We're good. I was going to say, oh, that was better. Now it's starting to snap on me on corner entry. I think I'm going to have to bite the bullet and pit this time because it's starting to snap on entry. It's one thing for it to snap on exit, but now it's starting to snap all the way around. It floated in nicely that time. Well, that felt better than it did the lap before. Look at my lap times, though. 32.7. I was running 32.3s just, what, like 10 laps ago? Oh, man. Like, it clipped quickly. Once I had that slide down towards the grass... It's a right rear. There, crew chief. I mean, we're not even down to a quarter tank of gas yet. that's how much longer these guys are probably going to be able to go on fuel. I mean, there's a chance they make it on 2 stops, which is another reason why I'm starting to second guess, like, when to come in. If I pit now, I'm definitely not going to be able to make it on 2 stops. Holy... Oh. Blowing smoke. We're good. We're good. Don't overcorrect it. Ah! Slightly overcorrected it. I wouldn't try to pass me down there, Jeremy. Oh. I'm gonna have to pit. I'm pitting this time. I'm gonna let him go first. Better get around me quick. Coming in! Alright. I couldn't take it anymore. Put some wedge in that, baby. We're gonna go round and a half. I'm going to drop the air pressure quite a bit, too. 3 pounds all the way around. Major adjustments. I couldn't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. All right. We didn't make it the full fuel run, but good enough for me. I just got to hope that these guys don't make it on 2 stops. I mean, whatever happens, at least we know we won the championship. So there is that. Ah, get out of the grass. I wasn't trying to do that. Been in the grass too much already. Now, they're using the excess road. I did not. I will say, my car felt like it jumped. When I came off of the racing groove onto the apron, I felt like I about took flight. All right. I just got to hope that this wedge adjustment was the right way to go. Jeremy Mayfield leading. I guess I didn't beat everybody into the pits by much. It looks like it's going to be a 3-stop race for most of the field then. Well, the short run side of things, it feels better. It feels more glued to the track than it did on the beginning of the last run. We just got to wait and see what it's going to be like when we get 40-plus laps into the run again. Had a pop up on my screen that was blocking the chat. Still making on 2 stops, 70 to 75 laps. I got to be able to make up as much fuel as I did on the first run, too. I mean, we'll see. Is that Kenseth right in front of me? There's no way. That's got to be Mark Martin. I didn't gain that much time. Oh, it is Kenseth. Wow, what a pit stop by the boys. I pitted maybe 1 or 2 laps before Kenseth and made up a 4-second gap. That contact upset the car. We're good. Side draft me down the back straightaway. Well, we've got him clear into turn 3. Let's go. Jeremy Mayfield's on pit road right now. We're going to be the leader. What a pit stop by the boys, man. Coming in clutch. They kind of failed me pre-race with the setup, but, you know, mid-race they're making it up on pit road. Granted, it's not the same guys. The guys changing the tires aren't the same guys that are setting up the car pre-race, but nice to know somebody's on their championship A game today. Yeah, I mean, it's wiggling around on me again. I guess now we just try to build up as big of a lead as we can while the car's hooked up. And then when the tires start to fade again later, we know what to do. I mean, that'd be cool to get a clean 20 wins on the season. 35 races, 20 wins. It's going to look like I dominated the season a lot more on the stat sheet side of things. By the way, 30 top 10s on the year, assuming I get a top 10 today, which is very likely with the equipment that we've had for this race. Great stuff. A 1-second lead over Kenseth, who did cycle back into second. No surprise there. Surprised he even lost the lead. It's a 5-second difference, by the way. Went in 4 seconds back. We pitted 2 laps early. I mean, my lap times really only fell off like maybe half a second, 0.6 of a second at the most. So maybe we could have gotten a second or 2 back at the very most on speed. We were a couple seconds faster in the pits. Like I said, great job by the boys. Now, we still have a cup season and we have a modified season going on. Obviously, we'll have a lot more cup races on the channel going forward. We got a slow car up here we're catching. Ryan Newman. Off the pace in the 39. Way off the pace. But he's not getting out of the way. I noticed he was kind of holding those guys up in front of us. I couldn't tell exactly who it was till we got closer. 32.337, fastest lap of the race. Well, we just ran our fastest lap. Since making the adjustment change, we definitely went in the right direction. And we're pulling away from Kenseth. Night and day difference. I mean, we had a heck of a battle off the start of the race. I obviously couldn't get away. They were pulling me. Kenseth and Stewart there in the beginning, and now we're pulling well, Stewart's out, but we're pulling Kenseth. 32.322 that last lap. Blaney winning the title. That's the hope, man. Trying to get Dave Blaney a championship. Some bad equipment. And we haven't ran that series in a minute, so when we go back to it, it's going to hit me hard right away how much tougher it is to win those races. Plus the longer races, too. I mean, we've been with the truck and the Busch stuff for a while since the last Cup race, taking that slight hiatus from it. And when we go back, I mean, we're going to be right in the middle of the regular season, so it's not like I'm starting the year off. I think my first race back is the Southern 500, too. .1 second lead now. About to get into lap traffic. Not counting Ryan Newman, who we already passed, who is well up the pace. Took 70 laps. We are still caution-free in this one. We did go caution-free in last night's race at Phoenix. Had 4 caution-free races on the season. Now, obviously, we are going to finish this out. And if you're just tuning in for the first time, it is a... Oh, wow. I just dropped a 32.286 that last lap. Yeah, we've definitely gone in the right direction with the setup. I mean, I'm like over a tenth quicker than what I was. Nice if we had a little bit more room to make some passes. Oh, boy. A little contact in front of us. What's this guy blocking me for? He's like 30-something. I still ran my fastest lap. This guy's gonna wreck me. Oh my gosh, dude, what are you doing? What? Why would you run me down there? And he's upset with me for it. The heck was that? What a buffoon. Try to get him again. Well, I was pulling away from Matt Kenseth. He's going to make me burn my rear tires off quicker. I can already feel it after sliding like that. After having that slide, I can feel it starting to slip out from underneath me already. Gosh darn it, I overcorrected it that time. Right into the side of that other guy. All right. Gosh darn it, dude. This thing, I think I was going to be fine for a longer period of time. That contact, it didn't look like much. But I wiggled a lot. And I can feel this thing starting to go to crap already. About to catch Ryan Newman again. What happened to Ryan Newman? Oh, I thought he was... I thought he was going to try blocking me there. Too fast for him. He was slowing Paul Menard up quite a bit. See, look, when Paul Menard's getting out of my way, he's a real guy. Let's give it up for Paul Menard. Let's get hard for Menard. Somebody in the chat let me know exactly what lap I pitted, by the way. I wasn't really paying attention when I did it. It was after lap 50, but I know it was well before lap 60. Burning the tires up a little earlier in the run with that contact the lap car. I probably got to pit around the same time. '56, '57, thanks. I mean, my pace is still there. Maybe a 10th off my fastest lap. Not bad. Should make it to lap 120 for fuel, but I don't know that tires are going to hold up that far. I think I went the right way with the setup, honestly. I don't think I'm going to make a change the next stop. And knowing it's a 3-stop race, too, we can get away with short pitting once. Oh, this guy, I did make contact with him first. But he wasn't giving me a lot of room on corner exit either. Kurt Busch going to do the same thing? I think so. Get underneath him here first. Tell you what, man, when these tires start to go away, lap traffic does not feel comfortable at all. And it doesn't help when they're racing the heck out of me either. Four-second lead over Kenseth. I like how we went from like a third or fourth place car to the fastest car in the field with that change, though. Obviously, we went in the right direction. I don't know that I want to make another change, honestly. If we just don't make contact with anybody, that I think I can keep the tires underneath it for longer than the first run for sure. There'd be no question on that. I guess so. Chris Osgood, 52 years. My favorite goalie of all time, Chris Osgood. I need to get an Osgood jersey. I've got a Zetterberg and a Datsuk. Always liked Ozzy. He was always one of my favorite players on those franchised Red Wings teams. I'm just assuming he's holding me tightly like some of the other lap cars were. That's why I was running so low down the back straightaway. Couldn't see once I got alongside of him. Splash and go. No, I'm taking tires all day today. No question. I don't have anywhere near the grip I did at Phoenix yesterday. Give me tires all night. I'm glad I've gotten into the rhythm here. I'm not going to lie, I had a headache earlier today. And then I worked out when I got off of work. I don't want to say it was a bad idea. I'm glad I got it in. Amplified my headache a little bit more. Which you can probably imagine it would. But it's starting to go away. I tried to stay as hydrated as I can, drinking a lot more water since I got back to try to help it a little bit more. But since I started streaming, I don't know if it's that I've kind of forgotten about it. But my head doesn't feel like it's pounding as bad or at all compared to where it was. And I was afraid that it was gonna suck. Try to get through the stream. All right, we will take our final field pass of the race. So we swap to Jeff Burton in the 21 car. It's in 14th. He's gained quite a few spots from where he was. Should be able to pick up this next spot for 13th. Up ahead as well. Assuming that that would beat for a position. It's not already a car that's a lap down. Tire limit, NASCAR 08. Yep, that is the plan. Yeah, I'm going to do it for every series too. Every series, every season we do. Give ourselves some tire wear limits. Not tire wear limits, but just tire limits. They only pit for tires so many times. I'll just determine that based on the race length. Obviously, you know, longer race like the Coke 600, they'll give us like 6 or 7 sets, something like that. Harvick in 19th. Ryan Newman holding up Greg Biffle in the 16. Harvick's got a big run on him as he passed Newman as well, and Harvick completes the pass off turn 2 for 18th place. He's gained a couple spots. I think he was in 21st last we were driving as Harvick. First 30 laps of the race. Both him and Burton up a few spots. I won't go over the tire limit. Oof. Been several laps since I was racing as Clint Boyer. Harvick and Burton's cars were a lot more smoother to drive. Honestly, I think I'm going to pit a few laps. Pitting a few laps, and then, you know, we could kind of just go 50 and 50 and not have to push it past that on tires the rest of the way. A 3.2 second lead. We're giving up a little bit. It was about 4.5. Push that pace a little earlier in the run. And I can afford to do it by just pitting every 50 laps. NASCAR, wait till NASCAR 25 comes out. I mean, it just depends on when the seasons finish. Obviously, once NASCAR 25 comes out, there's going to be a lot of NASCAR 25 content on the channel before we go back to the retro gaming. Like, it'll probably, I mean, it'll depend on when the game comes out exactly, but, you know, let's assume the game comes out during the end of the NASCAR season. Definitely going to play that through the rest of the season. And then once we get into the off season, I'll kind of alternate it. But, because I'll have to stagger it out long enough to get to NASCAR 26. Or at least within a few months of it. But yeah, we'll get a lot of it. Maybe not as much as like this game or 08 or something, because there's going to be a truck series from what it sounds like. I think we've only got Xfinity and Cup cars, so hopefully they can get trucks before that. They'll add a couple extra seasons that we can race with. And on the inside, Greg Biffle. A wee bit loose there. But we do make the pass. He's going to try to cross us over. Another. Oh, that might be Ryan Newman up ahead. Oh, there's somebody else that was blowing an engine again. Look at Greg Biffle. He's fighting to stay on the lead lap. He's going to try to pick me behind Newman. Ah, give me a room. I don't like Biffle being underneath me with this car getting looser. You're in a dangerous spot there, Biffle. He ain't giving up. Oh, don't do that. Okay. We still have not had a caution. A little past halfway now. He's going to try to cross me over again. This guy won't go away. I'm too loose to run the top. This late in the run. I could hold it earlier in the run. Got about 50 laps on our tires. I think he's doing this to try to let Kenseth back in the race. Assuming Kenseth's still in second. Well, I've gone a little further than I said I was going to go. Pulling away from him now. Where did he get that speed from to cross me over like 2 times? Like, I didn't make a mistake. He was just powering by the textbook crossover moves. I was holding on to the outside even when he got underneath me as well as I could. Wow, 32.252 that last lap, fastest of the race. I mean, maybe we do make it on one more stop if the tires are still feeling all right, honestly. It could be better. But again, if I just don't make contact with anybody earlier in the run on the next run and I just run a clean second half of the race, maybe there's a chance we make it on one more stop. Because we're not even down to a quarter tank of gas left. We only got 90 to go this time by. I'd imagine quarter tank I could get at least 15 more laps out of it. That'll take us to at least 75 to go. My pace is quicker than it was earlier, but I'm still managing my fuel pretty well. We might have a fuel mileage race here at Homestead. Assuming we don't get a caution, obviously. I will make sure I take the access road into the pits this time because I felt like my car, skipped quite a bit. Coming down the track from the racing groove to the apron. It almost felt like it picked up speed quite a bit too when I was trying to brake when it skipped. Because I got it down right to 70 miles an hour at the commitment line. Like I couldn't have cut it any closer. It made for about as perfect of a pit road entry as I could have had. Alright, right as we were about to get to lap 113, we had a quarter of a tank left. So we'll push it to an eighth of a tank. We'll see how many laps that is, and that's pretty much about how far I think I can go from there to the end of the fuel run. We'll probably be one of the last cars onto pit road. We were the first one on pit road by about a lap or two. We pitted, and then within a lap or two, everybody else started coming down. $127, we'll see. I mean, I would think I could make it about that far. Right rear's just starting to really go away on me. It still feels just more planted to the track. Dropped the air pressure quite a bit in the tires, so it would take more time for them to build to where they were at the end of the last run. And obviously the wedge adjustment to try to tighten it up as well, round and a half. Big swing there. good move. It's about a 3.6 second lead over Kenseth. JJ Yaley coming out of the pits, so there are cars that are on or are in the process of leaving pit road. Kevin Harvick's on his way in. Jeff Burton still has not pitted yet. I think he's on the lead lap. I don't think we've caught him yet. Did we catch Jeff Burton? Honestly, this might be him up here. Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, he is still on the lead lap. About to catch him. I thought Bernie was going to act like Greg Biffle and not give me room there. We did get underneath him. Now the right front. Okay, so you can definitely tell the setup's tighter because it went right rear, right front this time on the tire wear rather than right rear, left rear. So we've definitely taken care of that left rear tire way more. I had to tap out after 55 laps or so. We've gone just more than 60 laps to where we're at right now on this run. Jeff Burt was going to pit that time. He does not. Quite a few cars on pit road as we speak. All right. So 113, 13, 14, 15, 7, 126. Lap 126 is what we're looking at. Whoa! All right, caught it. Oh, my God. I had to get out of Newman's way. I almost turned myself off the front bumper of his car. Oh, man, it's starting to get snappy all of a sudden. I think he's packing my rear spoiler. I don't think I'm actually... I was going to say, that was out of nowhere, that lap. Both ends of the track, I was getting sideways. That felt like earlier in the race. I'm good now. False alarm. Saw a wiggle again there off turn 2, but... I mean, it still hasn't gone to dark red on that fuel indicator yet. Got a lot of traffic in front of us. I mean, the longer we can push this, I mean, we may make it on just one more stop. Oh, somebody almost just got blocked into the fence on the high side in 1 or 2. I saw somebody pull off a slide job up there. I wasn't sure if they were going to be clear. Good golly. Looking underneath of Kenny Wallace. I'm gonna wreck. I was just too low. I was just way too low on the racetrack. Oh, man. Well, it took a while to get this bad again, but I might be able to go a little bit past lap 127. It just went to dark red. 26 right now. I was expecting to pit this lap. I'm not going to. We've gone 71, 7. We've gone 69 to 70 laps with where we're at right now from where we pitted. If I pitted about 56, 57, like I was told in the chat. So we'd have to go a couple more to try to make it on one stop. There's still cars that are just now pitting, by the way. I'm not the only one out here. It is worth the gamble. All right. Just game, how much further do we want to go? I'm staying out this time for sure. And knowing I'm taking the excess road, if I coasted out of gas entering turn 3, it's fine. Wow, 32.131 fastest of the race that last time. As the car's freeing up, I can hold it more steady when there's nobody around me. Still put together some good laps. I'm going to go one more. We're going to risk it. We're going to go to lap 130. This is going to be 70 laps to go. Look out. We'll have 70 laps left when we exit pit road. I need new tires in a bad way. This thing's been difficult to handle for a little bit now. Yeah, we made it. I'm pitting. I'm not going another lap. All right. No adjustments here. 4 tires and a full tank of gas. Just got to not make contact with anybody earlier in the run. That'll save my tires enough. Tony Stewart was still in this race. No chance I would have went as far as I did on fuel, because I probably gave up a lot of time to Matt Kenseth. And he pitted probably around lap 120. We pitted about 10 laps or more after him. And we were really starting to get loose about those last dozen laps, excuse me. All right. I'm actually still in the lead. I'm surprised. I mean, Picker nailed it that first stop. Curious to see what it is this time. .3. I mean, it's about what it was. So 70, what? I went 74. So I went 74 laps that last run, 70 to go now. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I guess there's a chance. There's definitely a chance we make it the rest of the way without having to pit again. We're going to be pushing that number, but What is this guy doing? Pick a line. He's going to pass him low. He blocked me. This guy's going to do the same thing. Listen, I'm not trying to make contact with anybody so I can save my tires this run. I'm not doing that my first outlap after, or third outlap after leaving pit road. Taking time off with Thanksgiving. I know I'm going to have to get up pretty early on Thursday. Just taking the night off, holiday season. We'll be back on Friday, and then I'll end up having to be off again on Saturday. So I'll be busy all day that day with family stuff. Our second Thanksgiving during the Ohio State-Michigan football game. All right, get to watch my Michigan Wolverines not get blown out by 20 points, hopefully, into Ohio State this year. I think the line was like 23.5. I don't know how much it's changed since. We'll see. I think they can cover that. If they play like they did against Northwestern last week, I get it's Northwestern, not Ohio State. But they didn't make any mistakes in the sense of turning the ball over. So if they just do that, I think they'll be fine. Well, Warren did throw one interception. They turned the ball over once, but usually it's a lot more than that. All right, well, we passed 3 cars cleanly so far since leaving pit road. Still 3.8 second lead. Managing the tires so we could try to go the distance on fuel. Should be 70 laps this run here at Homestead. Give us that crisp 1-lap victory. Working tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, we are really slow at my work. They were actually asking people if they wanted to leave early today. I was asked, but I did not. I didn't have my headache at that time yet. I think if my headache would have rolled in a little sooner, I would have contemplated it, but yeah, there's some people leaving. Really slow this week. Not a lot of orders coming in. Get to Friday, though. I would imagine things will be pick it back up for at least a couple weeks again. Then we get to about the week of Christmas and we'll be dead for business side of things for a good month or two. I almost ran a 32.0 that last lap. It was 32.106. I didn't make any adjustment changes when I was on pit road. Just finding a way to run a faster lap. .32.059. I tried to catch some draft off that slower car there, Brian Newman. Wow, what a lap. 32.0. Remember that very first fuel run we had with that very loose setup at the beginning of the race? I couldn't get out of the 32.4s for my fast lap. The adjustments made on this car, we picked up 0.4 of a second. I didn't have a race-winning car at the start of the race, but ever since those changes, we've definitely been the quickest on track. Kansas put putting up somewhat of a fight, though. Again, 3.8 seconds off the lead. He's doing good for himself. Well, even if Stewart was in, with the adjustment changes made, we're doing what we need to do to win this championship here today. And we may be able to make it on fuel the rest of this race as well. The number we're trying to get to is about 35 laps to go before we get the halfway out of gas mark. So if we can get to 34 laps to go, 35 to go, excuse me, then we're going to be right on our number. And anything more than that will be even better. I think it's going to be pushing it, though. I pretty much cleared him a lot sooner than when he said right side, right side. I cleared him, and then he was on right side. Right side. 31.9. 31.996. I didn't think it was possible in these Busch Series cars. I'm a half a second faster than what I was at the start of the race. This thing went from loose as a goose to a rocket ship. What a call. I'm gonna pat myself on the back for the... Oh boy, we almost had a wreck right in front of us. Did you guys see that? Is that Hans Good in the 180? Somebody got loose trying to make a 3-wide pass, and I did not think they were going to make it out of that corner. Oh boy, no contact. I didn't get too loose after that contact. I think we'll still be all right. It is Hans Good in the 180 car. Good old Hans Good. Cruising to the championship. Yes, we are. No work for you till next Friday. Is that like next week or Black Friday? Next week, next week? That's a long time off. It's going to feel weird me having 5 days off in a row. Gonna enjoy it while it lasts. It's gonna be the most days off I've had in probably since last year this time. Actually, now that I think about it. No, because I was working Mondays at that time. That would have been 4. Well, I only went to one race last year. It was close. Yeah, it's probably been a couple years since I've had that many days off in a row. $50 laps left on the season here tonight at Homestead. Trying to better my average finish as well. 6.8 average finish on the season coming into this one tonight. Only 2 DNFs for Tony Stewart all year, and one of them came in the championship while running in second when we were third at the time with a wrecking loose race car. Ran top 4 the whole night. And we've turned this thing into a rocket ship, and even if he was still in, we'd obviously be in that 7th or better position to win the title. And honestly, we're going to probably go on to lead the most laps now. It wasn't looking like that at the beginning of the race. It was looking like Kenseth was probably going to be able to do that. But obviously, when we turned this thing into a rocket ship, it took the lead on that second fuel run. Ran out to now almost a 5.5, 6 second lead over the span of about 70, 80 laps or so. This is good for us. Trying to end the race, end the season, excuse me, on a 3-race win streak. Yeah, and probably no more pit stops. Still put a question mark on that. Until we get to halfway out of gas, we'll know a little bit better as to how much fuel we're burning on this run. 50 car Danny Oakland Jr. blocking Boyer. Bottom top. Back towards the bottom, but Boyer slips by through 1 and 2, just so much faster than him. Six of the last 7 days, pulling in that OT. I was working myself like a dog last spring. There was 1 week I worked from a whole week straight, and then through that next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday again. I can't remember if I pulled a Friday that following week or not. I don't think I did. I think I gave myself a day off. I'd have to go back into my workforce app and have to find that back up again. But yeah, there was a stretch last year. That was the longest it was, but yeah, it was like a week and a half. 11, 12 days. I got to that 10th day, and it was starting to be a blur, and I'm like, I still got 2 more days left. This sucks. I don't know how people do that all the time. More power to them. Just like not having a day off. So you just get sick of it. But then when you're sick of it, you take that, day or 2 off, and then you're right back in it again right away. And then you do it all over again. Yeah, that's not for me. I'll try to enjoy my life as much as I can. I mean, I get the money's nice, but I have way too many mental issues as it is. That ain't helping anything. Long as you've worked, yeah, man. It's a long time. Long time. All right, well, we're going to get to 41 laps to go this time. I've noticed when we catch lap traffic, it seems like we catch packs of them. Look at the track map. It seems like there's big group, big break, big group, another break, maybe 1 or 2 cars here, big group, break. Like we got these 2 cars, and then there's a break, and then there's another big pack that we'll end up catching eventually. $40 laps to go. 32.098. If you're just tuning in for the first time, came into this race, having to finish 6th or better to win the championship. Once it got to a lap led after qualifying on the pole, it became a 7th or better to win the championship. First run, we had fallen back as far as 4th. Very, very wrecking loose race car at the start of the race. Tony Stewart had driven up to 2nd. He actually led laps early. But was settled in 2nd behind Matt Kenseth. We were, at the time, battling for 3rd, kind of back and forth with Jeremy Mayfield. Was running 3rd, and then all of a sudden, on lap 35, Tony Stewart blew an engine, fell out of the race, and that pretty much handed us the championship. So we're just racing for a race win here. And we're in a bit of a fuel mileage race as well, trying to make it to the end. Having to go 70 laps on this final run. And we're going to get to 48 to go at the line, 38 to go, excuse me, at the line now. 7.8 second lead back to Matt Kenseth, who's still in P2. We have not had a caution yet today, so still caution free as well. So basically, as long as we finish the race, we're going to win the championship. And Tony Stewart has not returned to the track. Ryan Newman has some sort of engine issues because he's been off the pace for quite some time. But Tony Stewart, after his engine failure, has not returned to the track at this point. And obviously, it's going to be too late in the race to make up any positions now that he's been out for so long. So he's going to end up finishing dead last, just his 2nd DNF of the season. Splash and go if I have to pit. I might as well just change tires. I've got a big enough lead. I'm not worried about losing it. Our picker's been great today also. And when we picked up time on Kenseth on that first run, cycled out within a half a second behind him after being 4 seconds back. And then the next stop, we stayed out about a dozen laps longer than him. Try to stretch the fuel window to make it on one stop. Our tires were holding up a little better with the setup change. And still a little loose by the time he pitted, but tried to extend it, give ourselves a chance of making it on one less stop, and completely try to take him out of the race here. And here we are, 35 laps to go at the line, which is the number we had to get to. We are not halfway out of gas yet, so it does look good into making it to the end of this race on this fuel run. Any moment now, I'm expecting that to drop to halfway out of gas. And we're running some great laps. I mean, we ran a 31.9 at least once. That might have been the only lap, the 31.996 we had. At least I got to say we got a sub 31 second lap time. I'm back into the 32 once pretty consistently now. Ryan Newman exiting pit road again. All right, just at half tank, right in the middle of 1 and 2. So about a lap and a quarter to the good on fuel, it looks like, to the finish. Just need this thing to stay caution-free, and we'll be good to go. Got back-to-back caution-free races to end the season. Give ourselves 5 out of 35 races this year to not have a yellow. One in every 7 races going caution-free on average. Although this will be the second time we've gone back-to-back races without a yellow. And we haven't had a caution-free cup race yet. We'll go back to that probably sometime next week. Still got some modified stuff, obviously, that we're working on with this NASCAR 7 game playthrough, but Cup Series will return here soon. We'll have the next couple days off on the channel, and then we'll be back on Friday afternoon for a modified doubleheader, and then we'll continue back into the daily coverage when we get to Sunday. Tony Stewart probably had an average finish right around 7.0 also when you consider the fact that we had a 6.8 average finish and only had a 40-point lead coming into this final race. In hindsight, it kind of makes that Texas win a couple days ago when we had to come from behind. Not as impressive. I wouldn't say not as impressive, but it was still impressive to come back to win the race. I was just hoping, you know, to get a top 10 at that point. Top 5 would have been ecstatic, and we ended up winning. But at the time, breaking the tie for the points lead, that was so big. Such a clutch race at the end, too. Close battle with Kenseth. Hanging it all out there, and here we are. Situation where he blew an engine the first quarter of the race. First fuel run, lap 35. Dang. Yep, try to complete the sweep on NASCAR 7 for the championship side of things. Wrap up our Modified Series championships and get the next Cup one. Got some cars coming on the pit road for the final time here. I think that's Denning Hamlin. The access road entering turn 1. Smoked championship went out in a cloud of smoke. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. I was really excited coming into this, too. I was like, all right, man. Not very often, these season-long championships, it comes down to this close of a points battle as it has been down the stretch, and kind of stinks that finishes out like that. Now I'm going to end up winning the season championship by more than a race. Assuming I'm going to get the most laps led. I haven't gotten any word from our crew chief that we have led the most laps, but I should lead the most laps. I haven't noticed him say it yet, but yeah, we're easily going to lead the most laps. It'll be a max points day for the final 2 races of the season. On Hornaday trying to slip back to the inside. Oh, Harvick trying to pit right in front of us. Oh, no, 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 no. We do not need a caution right now. That was ugly. I wasn't expecting him to pit there. He didn't have his virtual hand out the window. Well, we didn't get a caution, thankfully. And he checked up so quick. I had 0 chance to get out of the gas in time there. Did he miss pit road the last lap? He's on the access road right now. Or I don't know where he went after I got into him. Apparently he missed the pits. He came back down the second time. That's going to hurt him in the finishing order. He was in the top half of the field. I don't think that's going to be the case anymore. Honestly, as connected to Hornaday as I was when I came back across the top of the racetrack, I probably hit the wall probably as lightly as I could have. $20 to go at the line. And our season finale at Homestead. A little bit of a scare there a few laps ago. Back to business. That was the contact that'll probably hurt the tires the rest of the race. Ran smoothly the whole run before that. The smoothest run of the race. Again, we were about a lap and a quarter to the good on fuel, based on our calculations. Fuel tank's definitely going to be low. Caution would definitely be the one thing to bang us here. Car leaving the pits down on the bottom of the track. We're going to catch him in a bad spot. He's getting up to speed off turn 4 right there with him. Haven't quite lapped the field. I wonder if all that contact that I ended up having, if Kenseth is actually on the lead lap still after pitting already. How ticked off do you think Tony Stewart would be under the collar after that engine failure? If it was real life 2006 Tony Stewart. It probably would have been the Joey Logano quote, but only it would have been directed at his engine builder instead. Dumb little son of a bitch blew our engine. Gonna bust his ass. Oh boy. Wouldn't want to be in the shop Monday morning with Tony Stewart. At least it was a Busch title. $15 to go. Quarter of a tank of gas left. Middle of that last lap is when we got to that point on this fuel run. By Ryan Newman again. Probably catch Newman one more time here before the finish. Drive to the inside of Paul Menard entering turn 3. Make the pass on him. Got a 1-lap lead on the field. Everybody has cycled through their third stop of the race. We're trying to make it on 2 stops. Stretching this fuel window out. And we may very well be able to do that. Again, about a lap and a quarter should be to the good on fuel. Not sure how far behind us on fresher tires Matt Kenseth is. I don't think he'll catch us before the end of the race to get his lap back. And if a caution were to come out, second place would get the free pass. They'd be right back in it, and that would probably force our hand to have to come to pit road. So we're not on older tires on the restart. That would be the only thing that could go against us. And then it would be just a 1v1 race to the finish. Fly on the wall. I just imagine him sitting across from like one of those like long tables. Just reaches across the table, the engine builder's sitting across from him and just starts strangling him. Homer Simpson on Bart Simpson style. Why you little? Both rear tires and the right front in the yellow on the tire wear indicator. Past these lap cars, I gotta make sure I don't like slide up across them, so that way the air does get packed on the rear spoiler, because it definitely gets gnarly when that happens. I haven't had that issue like I did the last couple runs. That really was the only thing that was getting me loose on the last run. For that, it was anything. Way more of The Simpsons when I was younger. I haven't watched it in a minute. I know of some stuff just from episodes I watched a long time ago. But that was like almost every episode kind of deal. Well, maybe not every episode. It was a few times a season at the very least. A common occurrence. Strangle his son when he would get in trouble. it sounds terrible, but that's what it was. It's a cartoon. Okay, it's not a biography, all right? It didn't actually happen. I wonder in this day and age if that actually still happens or not. Has Homer Simpson been canceled yet? I don't know. Canceled for domestic abuse. Child neglect. He was kind of a deadbeat too. He did drink a lot. Now that I think about it, he's a pretty despicable human being, really. And dumb as a box of rocks. Five to go on the race for the championship. Fuel mileage is king here at Homestead, as we are still caution-free. 2-stop strategy for Clint Boyer, 3 for everybody else. And outsmart the field, win the race and the title. This would be the 20th win of the year. Again, a 6.8 average finish coming in. 30 top 10 finishes this season with this one here today. 5 races we finished outside the top 10 all year. And we did finish every race, no DNFs. We did DNF in the Truck Series season at least once. Might have been twice. Because there was a race, I think at Dover, where we had a pit road glitch, and I was basically stuck on pit road for eternity and had to back out of the race to finish it. But I actually crashed out once. Yeah, I mean, we did what we needed to do to win the title, obviously. 1 DNF, and it would have been a title fight, obviously, even with Stewart having the engine failure here tonight. Would have still forced me to have a good finish in this race, which we are going to get. Yep. Had to put a full season together, and we did. Or at least are 2 laps away from doing it. Simpsons basically out of it. Well, I mean, the show's been going on for like 30 plus years, so I don't blame them for being out of ideas. I mean, it's not really... I wouldn't say it's, their fault. At 30 years, I don't know how many episodes are in a season. Not surprised that they would be out of ideas. Yeah, as far as I know, I think they're still making new episodes. I see it on the Animation Domination ads when I'm watching football on Fox every Sunday, so... Alright, here we go. Checkered flag waving. Caution-free race. 5th time this season. Back-to-back to finish the year off. 3 straight wins to finish the season for yours truly, Clint Boyer. 20 wins. And a fuel mileage win here at Homestead. Fitting. Last 2 races we won by a margin of 1 lap. Both because of pit strategy, but we also had the fastest car in both races too, so it wasn't just the strategy side of things. We dominated the strategy and the car. We didn't have the fastest car at the start. We had a top 5 car out of the start, but we worked on it, got it to be a rocket ship by the middle of the race, and really dominated the second half of this one. I think we led every lap of the second half of this race. Championship here at Homestead. It was going to be a good title fight. Unfortunately, Tony Stewart blew an engine on lap 35 tonight. We would have had to finish 7th or better to win the title. Technically 8th or better with leading the most laps. 163 laps led out of 200 for us from the pole. Again, 1 lap margin to victory. Matt Kenseth led for 30 early on. It was looking like it was going to be his race to lose until we got the car adjusted correctly in the middle of the race. And we were just running some blazing laps there. Half a second quicker with the adjustment changes I made throughout the race. So definitely good credit for me picking up that half a second needed. And even then, we only had as large of about a 9-second lead, which is a lot, obviously, but for being, 4 seconds back, 4.5 seconds back at one point on Kenseth, we had some ground to cover. 1 hour, 49 minutes, 42 seconds on this race. Quick one, obviously, with no cautions, 12 lead changes. So 2 nights in a row, yeah, caution-free. Not as quick as the race yesterday, but this distance was longer by 100 miles, so that's not surprising. 12 lead changes, as I mentioned. 0 yellow flags. Matt Kenseth 2nd. Kenny Walsh 3rd. Aaron Crocker 4th. Martin Truex Jr. in 5th. 6th for M. Irvin, fantasy driver. Brian Vickers 7th. Jeremy Mayfield 8th. Hans Goodnight. Dale Earnhardt Jr. rounds out our top 10. Our teammates Jeff Burton finished 3 laps down in 14th. Kevin Harvick finished 3 laps down in 22nd. He missed pit road that last time, lost some spots, had to pit the following lap. And it looks like we had quite a few DNFs, really. Well, Ryan Newman finished, but he was off the pace there at the end. So 5 DNFs, A. Siegel, Mark Martin, Kay Clayton, F. Taylor, and of course Tony Stewart, who led just 1 lap in this one. I thought he led a couple more than that, but he had his 5 bonus points early on, unfortunately. Lap 35, running 2nd, while we were in 3rd at the time, blew an engine, handed us the championship early after he had qualified 2nd initially in this race. 164.07 mile per hour average race speed. And here we go. Pop the champagne bottles. We did it again. That's me virtually popping the champagne bottles. Let's go. Clint, that does not look like Clint Boyer, by the way. I don't remember Clint Boyer having a mustache. When was that ever? All right. And we will look at the full season point standings here. Martin out early too, yep. All right, so season stats, 20 wins for Clint Boyer, 27 top 5s, 30 top 10s. We led 163 tonight, so that will be 3,166 laps led on the season. We had 3,003 laps led coming into the night. And I'll have to get out my calculator to get the average finish. It was 6.8 coming into the race. .6 with the win. So 6.6 average finish. Again, 27 top fives, 30 top tens, 20 wins, and 3,166 laps led. Other drivers to win. 4 wins for Mark Martin on the season. Second most. Matt Kenseth had 3 wins. 2 for Tony Stewart and Kyle Busch. 1 win apiece for Jeremy Mayfield, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kenny Wallace, and Aaron Crocker. 9 different winners total on the season. And this might be the most wins I think I've had in a season on our playthroughs. Yet it was still a battle for points that went down to the final race. Honestly, it was just how the season started more than anything. We started off just so sluggish. Had that 40th at Daytona, 2nd at California, got our first 2 wins back-to-back, Red Bull at Las Vegas, and 41st at Atlanta. We had 2 finishes of 40th or worse in the first 5 races. And it took me till about race 15 to finally take the points lead after that Dodge Raceway race, the second one. Got the win there. Led all but 4 laps of that race. Had 5 wins in a row in that stretch. Longest amount on the season. Actually, in that stretch, I ended up winning 7 of 8 races. Because I finished 4th at Charlotte in that stretch before the 5 wins, and we won the 2 races at Richmond and Darlington before that. Then that 36th at Daytona, I think that was what gave Stewart the points lead back again. We were like 40-something points back. Got back into the lead a handful of races later at IRP, race 23. I believe that was the first engine failure of the season for Stewart, was at Indianapolis. And that gave us about 100-something point lead. And then we gave it right back up the next race by finishing 33rd at Watkins Glen. And Tony Stewart was back within not only double-digit points, I think he was like 30, 40-something points back. Stewart finally got his first win of the season at California in race 27. That cut the points lead down to just 17 with 7 races to go. Then we had 3 wins in a row: California, Dover, Kansas, 17th at Charlotte, 10th at Old Spice Speedway. That was Tony Stewart's second and final win in the Old Spice car, of course. That put us in a tie for the points lead because he finished either 2nd or 3rd in the Charlotte race. We finished 17th. So we basically, it went from about a 17-point lead. We won the 3 races in a row. It was back above a 70-point lead again. And then we had 2 finishes 10th or worse next 2 races. He goes out there, finishes first and either 2nd or 3rd in the other. I didn't have, where he finished in that race in particular, just Kenseth winning. But, yeah, then he wins at Old Spice. We finished 10th. And we were tied with 3 races to go. 1 at Texas, come from behind. Stewart led the most laps in that race. Was looking like he would have won. Had a caution with 50 laps left, which I was just trying to stay out as long as I could on pit road. We were 15th before the pit cycling started. And I was trying to cycle back up as far as I could. We were in 2nd. Stewart was still leading. Caution comes out. Trapped a lot of cars a lap down. We both pitted. We restarted 10th and 11th. We got through traffic just in the nick of time on those fresher tires. Took the lead with 2 laps to go from Kenseth. Stole the win. And Stewart ended up finishing in 5th that day. Gave us, with him leading the most laps and us at least getting 5 bonus points with the win, a 20-point lead going into Phoenix. After Phoenix, we doubled down, went to a 40-point lead with a max point stay and a win, but he ended up finishing 2nd and leading some laps. And yeah, 40 points coming into the night. We had to finish 6th or better to win the championship at the start of the race. Then it turned to 7th or better, leading the first lap, getting the 5 bonus points after qualifying on the pole. started to fade on that first run as the car was very loose. As I mentioned already, fell as far back as 4th in the run. Tony Stewart, lap 35, while running second, blew an engine. That's basically the tale of the season on the race-by-race side of things in the points battle between Stewart and Boyer. It was literally us two and nobody else the whole season. I'd have to go back into the streams to see how far ahead of third we were at some point. It was literally in the first 7-8 races we were a couple hundred points ahead of him. It was ridiculous. And well, I should say he was over a couple hundred points ahead of him, and then we obviously scratched the clock because we were still trying to come from behind. It took us 15 races to get to the points lead. But 191 is what it finished off at. It was way close. It felt way closer than that. Obviously, if you had followed along this entire season, back and forth several times, even in the second half of the year, we were tied with 3 races to go. Unfortunately, the DNF tonight for Tony Stewart on lap 35. Cost him a shot at the title. We ended up winning the race, so ultimately, even if he finished in second, for instance, if he was able to get the car better, or even if he was able to compete, maybe had the same pit strategy as us and won the race because he was faster than us earlier on, we would have finished second. We still would have won the title, so either way. He wouldn't have won, but it would have looked a lot closer on paper. Jeremy Mayfield over 1,100 points back in third. Kenny Walls fourth. Aaron Crocker fifth. J.J. Haley sixth. Our first teammate, Kevin Harvick, in 7th, picked up a spot coming into the night on Mark Martin, who blew an engine and finishes 8th in points. Trent Busch night, Jimmy Johnson, who was outside the top 10 on Kyle Busch, he was 11th coming in, finishes 10th in the point standings. To round things out, of course, we won the title with Jimmy in our first season on this game. For the Busch Series, Jeff Burton, 13th in points, our other teammate there. And, yeah, obviously not all of these drivers that are full-time Cup regulars ran every race. Tony Stewart did, obviously, but not all of them did. Dale Jr., obviously, that's why he's so far back. Kenseth had 4 wins. He was 23rd in points. See who else might have been down here. I think Kenseth was last of the drivers that had a win on the season. And Earnhardt had a win early in the year, too. Yeah, I think that was it. I think Reed Sorensen would have been the last of the non-fantasy drivers in points, 30th for him. But again, Cup regular wasn't running every race. How many drivers did we have start a race this season? 66. Wow. What a time to be alive. 2006 NASCAR. So yeah, that's going to wrap the season up, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in here tonight. Oh, I guess I ripped my earphone out of my ear on accident. Thanks for tuning in, not only tonight, all season long. It was a fun one. Came down to the final race. We'll see what kind of a points battle we have in the Cup and Modified Series side of things. It's looking like we may be able to wrap up the Modified season before the finale there. Just finally started pulling away in the point standings in our last stream. Then we have 6 races to go. And we'll go back to that on Friday. Friday afternoon, Black Friday. We'll have a noon stream. Doubleheader with running both races in the same stream as we usually do for the modifieds. So that'll get us to 4 races left. Off Saturday, off Thursday for Thanksgiving, obviously, and off Wednesday this week. But we'll be back on the daily live streams again on Sunday, and we'll run that gauntlet and not have a day off from streaming until we get to Christmas Eve. And then take a little extra time off there during the holidays again. Right back on it for 2025. Crazy. And then, more of the gaming, and NASCAR will be here before we know it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good rest of your Tuesday night, and I'll see you in a few days. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way, everybody, as well. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Safe travels for anybody traveling out anywhere, and enjoy the time with your family and friends.